Welcome to TMZ Live. As the Nolan Wells death investigation continues, there is somebody on Capitol Hill who says you cannot ignore race in this case.
That is Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, and she says that regardless of what happened on Horn Island with Nolan Wells, race will still play a factor. Even if it didn't have something to do directly with his death, it is certainly front and center as we all examine what happened between Nolan and his friends and what the reaction in the town has been. This is what she told us yesterday on Capitol Hill.
I mean, I think that specifically as Black Americans in the United States right now, we are always going to question whether or not there is a racial motivation, but also, if you know the history of Mississippi, I think that you'd have to be blind not to question potentially what is happening, especially in the case of an 18-year-old who ends up deceased without his cell phone, without any communication whatsoever with anybody, prior to ending up deceased, and he was out with his Caucasian friends, and then law enforcement tells everybody there's no foul play to be suspected.
Are you in the camp of if Nolan was white and his friends were...
Yeah.
Okay.
The friends, listen, they would have absolutely been under the jail with no questions asked first.
Really?
But for sure.
Okay.
We already know this. Like, we know how, I mean, think about it this way.
You're saying it's a done deal. If Nolan was white, his friends would be...
If Nolan was white, they would be in jail. They would ask questions later.
So she is very strong on this. It is interesting because yesterday we spoke with Nolan's football coach.
His former football coach, high school football coach, who said that as far as he had seen, there was not racial tension in the town and certainly not around Nolan.
Or his friend group.
Around his friend group. Said Nolan was, everybody loved Nolan. That was his personality. And so it seemed like he's saying that it isn't a factor here. I understand why the nation, as they looked at this case, and the first time we saw the photo of Nolan with his friends, I completely get why people made that leap. The fact is, we don't have the facts yet, but I do understand what she's saying, that what she's saying is, even if they had nothing to do, even if Nolan, was a drowning and it was something tragic and that there wasn't foul play, she's questioning why his friends, and he's there with all white friends, would leave him that way.
But not just that. It's not just optics. It's all of a sudden getting rid of their social media. You know, there are things that make you wonder what is going on here.
1,000%, and that's why the Black community pretty much agrees with what Jasmine Crockett is saying. What we're seeing, there's just no way you can know what you know, the facts, the little facts that we do know, there's just no way you can have that and not say that there's possibly no foul play. It's one thing to say we don't know, but to go and say that there's no foul play at all, as a Black American, when you see that, you're like, how is it not? And then you automatically think, especially in a community where it's predominantly white, in Mississippi.
Sheriff, presumably, is saying that based on a preliminary look at Nolan's body.
Yeah, but what's a preliminary? I mean, you look at
there's no blunt force, no obvious signs of blunt force.
But like
trauma.
what Harvey said, how can the friends lie about not having the phone and then get caught with the phone, and the phone is immediate, everything's wiped out?
I don't know that the friends lied about having the phone. They brought the phone back
after it.
They brought the phone and the clothes back. But I understand what Ben Crump told us is that they got the phone and they saw things that there were deleted messages.
And by the way, and I'm not saying this happened, but to look at a body and to say, well, there's no evidence of foul play.
No obvious sign of blunt force trauma.
I understand that. But when and I'm not saying this happened, I have no knowledge of this, but for example, you hold somebody underwater, you're not going to see blunt force trauma, but it could be murder.
Right.
I'm not saying this is.
Which is why we should say, need to be fair to the sheriff. What he said was, at this point, we didn't see any sign of foul play, but that may change as the investigation continues, which means when we get the autopsy results.
But when you say that, it's like, it used to be Don't say anything.
That part,
until
and I
you
think
know.
that's
Just
what
don't
more-
say
that's
anything until
exactly
you know.
the
Don't give it
thing.
to us in increments.
That
Right.
part.
Because that's misleading.
1000%.
To say no evidence of foul play makes you feel like, well, there's nothing. But there could have been all sorts of things that could have created foul play that you just don't know when you look at
1000%.
something.
And then when you miss and you do it too soon, then that opens the door for people to now feel
Conspiracy
like
theories.
And also that this isn't going to be a fair trial, that they're not going to look at this fairly. If they're already jumping to conclusions so fastly, then who knows how this is going to go.
Right.
Again, it's in Mississippi, a state that is historically known to have issues when it comes to things like this. So when you have the sheriff coming out too soon, it opens up a huge can of worms.
Hi, my name's Shamika from Queens, New York, and I agree with Jasmine Crockett as well. I believe that because there's so much tension that has always been in America when it comes to Black Americans, that obviously we're going to believe that this is foul play because it was 3 kids that were white and 1 Black boy that never returned. But also, innocent people don't lawyer up. Innocent people don't start hiding their profile, and police officers or investigators don't rightfully just share information and automatically dismiss foul play before the evidence is even out there. So I definitely agree. And especially at this current time in America, we are more prone to really believing that obviously that this would be race related.
Jennifer Lopez got to be feeling nothing but disappointment today because she thought she was this close to finally unloading this. Well, they spent more than $60 million on it, but listing the mansion that she and Ben Affleck purchased, now listed at $50 million, and she had a buyer, and now she doesn't.
So this was some kind of a tech guy who's pretty famous. Don't know who it is, but he bailed. And what we are told is that this happened. This didn't happen just a day or two ago. This happened a little bit ago. When she relisted the house weeks ago, they got the offer from this guy within a week, and
he put down and was serious about it.
Well, you have to put down a deposit,
right?
But there's also,
and when it's a $50 million house, whatever price you're offering, it's a lot of money you're putting down.
Now,
right?
The way it works is that there is a period where you can back out. Usually you do an inspection, you have to deal with financing, so they give you a period of time in which to back out and get your deposit back. What I'm told is he did that, and people had gone to him that he knew in the area and said, this is not the house for you.
This was not a matter of he had an inspector come in and then they found something and he didn't know. He just, upon the advice of others, decided this was not the house.
Now, what's interesting is I talked to a realtor who was kind of involved in this world in that price range, who said, well,
which is weird to say. I mean, for the rest of the country to say that there are that many houses in that price range.
Well, this gets weirder then, because what he said was there is a lot of competition in that price range. That there are a lot of homes in West LA.
In the 40 to 70,
yes.
40 to $100 million?
Yes, and that it is a competitive market for that kind of property, and that the person who bailed may well have just said, there are so many other...
something else.
That's right.
Yeah, my $50 million be better spent elsewhere.
This is now a white elephant. I mean, she has gone through multiple realtors. And it seems like she's dissatisfied each time they can't sell it. And now this house is just labeled, like
when people, that's why people list a house and they take it off the market when there's no buyer, right? Because you don't want it to be sitting there for 60 days.
But you know the difference?
Because people look at that and are like, wait, no one's snapped this up
But
yet.
the difference is that, well, most of those houses where they take it off the market and then put it back on 5 months later
aren't on TV shows every other week.
Exactly.
So everyone knows about it.
Everybody knows about it.
So why not just leave it on the market?
So this actually, what I'm told is this happened before with that house with a prior owner where they ended up renting it for a while. And as a matter of fact, you know who rented it? Mariah Carey's ex-fiancé, James Packard, who rented it and then left. And I think he had an option to buy, but didn't.
Right.
So this has been a problematic house. And Ben Affleck is now out of the picture. He basically said to her, it's
all
yours.
yours. It's all yours. Which helps her, but whenever she does sell it, she still has an opportunity to make a little bit of money, probably.
But now the question is she going to lower it below $50 million? I mean, this sounds crazy to you, right? But they bought it for about 60. They put millions in. They have to pay a realtor. There are carrying costs now. So this is...
And there's a mortgage they're paying on it.
A $20 million mortgage, we're told. So Ben,
or she's paying on
what
it.
I'm told by somebody is they believe Ben, the reason he gave it to her was it was right around the time of tax time, and that he got some kind of a tax credit on this. So maybe that benefited Ben. It benefits her, but man, you could either now rent a studio apartment in Sherman Oaks, or you could buy this home. I mean, that may be what it comes down to.
I can't believe there's a competitive market
There
for
is.
$50 million.
There is.
Hi, my name is Blossom. I'm from Connecticut. And honestly, at this point, well, first off, there's got to be something wrong with that house. But honestly, she should just keep the damn house, okay? Stop viewing it as...
She bought another house, but
She could probably sell that one much easier.
Yeah, maybe.
And maybe make a profit on that one.
Obviously, no one wants this house. Just keep it. No tax deduction. You could do like a tax write-off or something if she wants to have a business
It
there.
is a lot of house, though, for one person.
She should rent it out to reality show. You know, it's like one of those shows, like a Bachelor type
Just
show.
make it a...
Yeah.
Turn it into a set.
Right.
Coming up.
Well, we've now learned more about why Eminem's ex-wife Kim Scott had to be hospitalized the other day. We had seen photos of her being loaded into an ambulance. It was a suicide attempt, according to a family member who called 911 to get her help, urgently get her help.
Be right back.
Well, we've now learned more about why Eminem's ex-wife Kim Scott had to be hospitalized the other day. We had seen photos of her being loaded into an ambulance as she was removed from her home in Michigan, and it is a really, really sad story. It was a suicide attempt, according to a family member who called 911 to get her help, urgently get her help.
Mother says his aunt cut her wrist and she's bleeding. She's currently sitting on the couch listening to music. The knife is in her hand and she will not give it to the caller, Kim Mathers. Does she still have the pocket knife? Stay firm, it's in her hand.
She's unconscious now. The caller was able to remove. Is still breathing.
Oh, it's just horrific.
Yeah.
Just horrific.
Yeah, and I don't know how old that nephew was, but a really sad situation to...
Shockingly calm.
Yeah. Well, that was the dispatcher we were hearing. They're trained to be calm.
Very calm, and you have to think that Kim is obviously not in the right mindset because they say she's cut herself and then now she's just sitting on the couch listening to music.
Right.
And we've reported, I mean, she's had struggles for years.
She had that DUI.
She had a DUI recently, and she drove into her own house, so she's struggling.
But it's almost just like surrendering.
Yeah.
When you're just sitting there listening to music, you know, in that state, and it's just... Really,
when there's a family member there in the house, it's very, very sad. So she obviously was hospitalized, and she did survive this, but clearly there are going to be some difficult days ahead for Kim.
Jasmine from Brooklyn. Prayers up for Kim, but especially prayers up for Haley. She has not been dealt the easiest set of parents in life. And I just saw a TikTok of her doing the whole Netflix documentary trend. And it was so nice to see her like growing up and all of this stuff, but to not have to deal with this. My heart goes out to the both of them. I really hope there's a positive end to all of this.
Yeah, I mean, the ripple effect, you're right, is, you know, it's real, and you got to think about...
The other thing is that I think that Eminem's fans all feel some connection to her because there were so many... He wrote about her so often in songs, even when it wasn't pleasant, but people feel a connection to her.
He hasn't said anything yet.
No, he hasn't. I wouldn't expect him to either, but...
It's really sad.
Homeschooling. Always a very controversial subject, and... The podcast, I've Had It with Jennifer Welch and Angie Sullivan, well, they put their feet right in the middle of it because they have very strong opinions about what it means to be homeschooled now. And it's not the same thing necessarily when you were growing up. I don't know, did anybody do homeschooling when you were growing up?
Nobody.
Fewer people did it.
I don't even think there were private schools when I was growing up. No, I'm serious.
No, some people did it when I was growing up, and it was definitely seen as like a very fringe thing, very few people. And then it certainly became, there were even more, and then after the pandemic, there's been an explosion of it. So, how did homeschooling turn political? Well, here is what Jennifer and Angie had to say about it. They have ruffled a lot of feathers.
I just think homeschooling is a bad idea from soup to nuts. I don't care if you're a nuclear physicist. I think it's just weird as that you want your kids around you all day, every day, and all night. And just the socialization. So I don't trust somebody that wants to be with their kids 24/7. I think a lot of dumb people do it because it's just easier. And that's a concern.
This is trickle-down stupidity. This is MAGA on steroids. This is MAHA. This is tradwife. This is unvaxxed and unjacked and all that. This is the worst.
So there are a lot of people that are criticizing them. I got to say that it's
some
not
homeschool advocates who are saying that this is completely missed.
Here's real talk. That there are people who are worried about school shootings, that they happen so much that they don't want their kids going to school, where they say, oh my God, I didn't think it could happen here. And that's a real thing these days. So you don't have to be a tradwife or MAGA or anything else to have that feeling. That said, I think kids who are homeschooled and not properly socialized with other kids.
They're at a disadvantage socially.
There's something weird about it.
I agree completely about the socialization. And a lot of this is coming from, you say school shooting does provide a lot of anxiety, but the parents who are homeschooling, it's largely for religious purposes, right? You don't think the school is sort of coming through
sometimes. I don't think that's
certain
most
ways.
of it.
No?
I think people are concerned about violence at schools. I think they are.
That's not what they're linking homeschool to. You believe that that's what is generating
there are people who do that.
I have definitely read articles
Our chat is saying that homeschool, if you have like a serious disability or you're not able to attend school, is one thing. But otherwise, it's important for kids to socialize and go to school and have those experiences. They're kind of agreeing.
You have to be exposed to other people in the world. If you're just exposed to your siblings and your parents, it will distort your worldview. There's no way around it.
And then
you get the right education.
You cannot communicate properly with people if you are sitting there and maybe you have a friend that you're texting and all you're around is your parents. That's weird.
And a lot of that exposure is going to be uncomfortable at times. That's part of growing up, though, is exposing your kids to those moments that are awkward and embarrassing to make them better adults in the future.
Some of the people who went after Jennifer and Angie said that it's weird that you don't want to be around your kids. What's wrong with you? You should want to be around your kids. And I feel like that was completely misguided because that's not the point. It's not. I don't think Angie or Jennifer are saying they don't want to be around their kids, but they realize there's value in their kids being around other kids.
Although I do believe exactly this kind of judgment is what makes homeschool parents dig in their heels and say, this is what we're trying to keep away from, is this far-left radical ideology, and we need to protect our children from it.
They're wrong to say their motivation is so that they can be around their kids 24 hours a day. That's not the motivation for homeschool. I think that's wrong, too.
Hey, I'm B from Alabama. As a teacher, I actually think that parents should be able to homeschool their kids, but my issue with homeschooling is that there's not a lot of checks and balances and oversight for it. So I'm really worried about what's actually going on in the home, and is there anybody to report things like abuse? So that's my kind of point of view with it. I think it needs more checks and balances.
I'm definitely gonna overstep. I don't know how this works. There has to be some sort of state testing you still have to do, even if you're homeschooled, right?
Yeah, but the testing by who? The student or the parent?
No, but I'm saying that there's got to be. Actually, you probably know as a teacher, if you are homeschooling someone, do you have to? Does the state at some point say you have to make sure they pass this test?
Yeah, so there's graduation exams and things like that, but honestly, it changes from state to state.
Well, but wait a minute. Okay, so they flunk. I mean, the parent's not going to be docked for it. So basically, you've got this kid.
You just keep
keep
teaching them until they get the test.
And you got parents who have no basis to know how to teach a kid. And
sometimes I get your point. Yes, largely that is the case.
Largely.
But you may have people who were educators homeschooling their kids also.
I wonder how many.
I don't know the numbers.
Coming up.
There is an attempted purge going on in Washington, D.C. and beyond over the story that the plane that President Trump got from the Qatari government was not fit.
They are going after people inside the White House.
Be right back.
TMZ's got every freaking thing. Big celebs, big stories, big events.
Donnell Rawlings took TMZ DC on a city tour.
You know what the irony of this is? A black man takes a white person to the White House.
It's TMZ.
There is an attempted purge going on in Washington, D.C. and beyond over the story that the plane that President Trump got from the Qatari government was not fit to fly from Turkey to another location
Back
because
to England after
a death threat that Donald Trump received, that the old Air Force One was far better equipped and safer than the Qatari plane. Donald Trump did not want to say that out loud and skirted it when he got on the OG Air Force One. But the New York Times came out with a story citing sources that this was a security problem with the new plane, and Donald Trump has gone on the warpath.
Yes, there's an absolute witch hunt going on now. It started with trying to find out information about the reporters who did the story, and now, today, we've now learned that they are going after people inside the White House, that Kash Patel and Susie Wiles are leading the charge here, grabbing people to get people's phones because they want to find out where this leak came from.
Now, the FBI has already not just gotten the phones of reporters who they think are involved in this, but they've also apparently searched their homes. They actually got a search warrant. So they are trying to plug this leak by getting phones and now basically demanding people in the White House to turn theirs over. This
the people
is
in the White
extraordinary.
House, the people in the White House, I kind of get that one, that's them wanting to clean up their house, right? They want to find a leak. The going after the reporters part is another.
I got a story. That a long time ago, one of the first big stories TMZ ever broke was the Mel Gibson anti-Semitic rant on Pacific Coast Highway when he was cited for driving under the influence, and the sheriff's department hid the fact that he went on this rant, that the police officer who wrote up the police report had written 4 pages of what Mel Gibson had said. Those were taken out by sheriff's officials because they didn't want the public to know it. We found out about it, and we ended up breaking the story and quoting from those 4 pages which we received. I didn't know this, but I knew this part, that the sheriff's department felt that the officer had given us the document.
Right.
I was the one who got that story, and I didn't find out until a year later, when somebody from the LA Times called me up and said, did you know that the sheriff's department got a search warrant for your phones, for your home phone, for your cell phone, and for your work phone to find out who you were talking to? Did you know that? And not only did I not know it, but I was so outraged that I talked to our lawyers and I said, we should file a lawsuit against the sheriff's department. This is a First Amendment issue. What I found out was after 9/11, the laws were changed for security reasons, and they are now allowed to do just that.
I was going to say I would imagine what they're going to lean on is that because this was a story about Air Force One and the safety of that plane, you are now jeopardizing its national security, and therefore they have the right to grab those reporters'
I don't even think they
phones.
need to show that because they did it with me and there was no national security. But clearly,
the law allowed them to,
this case seems squarely in line with that issue.
Right.
And so, yeah, going after the White House staff, I get.
Yeah.
But apparently they can do this as well now. We have a different
reporters.
world
Yeah.
with reporters. So that's where we are right now.
Gary from New Orleans, Louisiana. This feels like one of those stories where the cover-up or the search for the leak is becoming bigger than the leak itself. People are now focused on who's being investigated, who's having their phones taken, and what they mean for the press more than the jet itself, or the plane itself, my bad.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is, why would the White House why would Trump be so upset about this story coming out? Like, if the plane, what he should be concerned about is the plane safe. And
no, he can't. Is
the plane safe? Because you want to fly on the most secure plane possible. And if Secret Service or whoever is telling you that the Qatari plane isn't safe, then just don't get on it.
No, and I'll tell you why. No, I'll tell you why. Because Donald Trump, A, took this airplane that a lot of people said he should never
have taken. So he
B,
can't.
he rushed this plane being outfitted to become an Air Force One.
So this is about saving face.
It's about saving face because this plane is not fit for this kind of security breach, but the original Air Force One, which was built from the ground up for that reason, could.
Which is why he took that one when he left Turkey and went to England.
And he doesn't want to say out loud, well, I jumped the gun here and I just wanted this plane. So that's why he did it.
Coming up.
Once again, the TMZ DC crew having conversations with members of Congress that I would not have expected 5 years ago. And now you have AOC talking about clavicular and Looksmaxxing.
Be right back.
Once again, the TMZ DC crew having conversations with members of Congress that I would not have expected 5 years ago, 2 years ago, maybe even a year ago.
Yeah, I mean, they were so like buttoned up and talking about issues and never smiling or showing personality. Jacob and Charlie are getting it.
Yeah, and now you have AOC talking about clavicular and Looksmaxxing.
And not jokingly.
By the way, and she clearly knows this wasn't a case of Charlie sort of laying it out to her saying, oh, here's what this guy is about. And
she knew.
She knew all about him.
And there's a real issue here.
Yeah.
And she wanted to talk about this clearly. This is a little bit about her take on the concept of Looksmaxxing courtesy of clavicular.
What do you make of him? Some people are concerned like he's a bad role model and this sort of stuff.
I think to me it's less about himself as a person. I think it's about what leads young men to go down these kinds of rabbit holes. I think as a woman, when we've been in teenagers, like we're constantly being told that our bodies are not good enough. It's bad enough that women get that. And I don't want to see that extended to young men either.
So you're not totally down with the whole Looksmaxxing trend and everyone trying to...
I think people should do what makes them happy. But I think that I personally want us to have a conversation that goes beyond looks.
But here's the thing about it, and I love the fact that she engaged Charlie in this and really had some interesting points. But at the same time, looks is a multi-billion-dollar industry. The Kardashians, that's all they do, and they make billions of dollars doing it.
I think that there's
and Hailey Bieber, and I can go on. There's
a line. There's a difference between makeup and cosmetics to make yourself look better, and then chiseling your face at home.
Charles, okay.
Chiseling your face at home. I know what you're going to say. I know what you're going to say.
What?
That they have surgeries.
BBLs.
Right? Yes, and that's
so
different.
dangerous.
And that is
life-threatening.
Dangerous also.
Women die from
And by
this.
the way, and we should have that conversation with young people are going in to have BBLs. By the same way, you should have that conversation.
But
I just think there's a
at least
difference
it's under a
between
doctor's care, though.
people
with
are
the
talking
Looksmaxxing when you are actually at home doing things to your
Hit
face.
yourself with a hammer in the face.
Okay, and that's way beyond the pale. But he does other things.
Yeah.
And look, the concept of Looksmaxxing is you want to look as good as you possibly can, and it matters. And it used to be that
and go to whatever extreme to look as good as you can.
Well, the question is, where do you draw the line? And I agree with you that he's drawn.
That's why it's called maxing.
Our chat says there's a fine line between boys just wanting to feel like boys wanting to improve their appearance and look better and feel better, and then actually promoting destructive behaviors.
But I get it. But you could be short of destruction, and it used to be that guys who were vain, who cared about vanity, they were looked down upon, and that you shouldn't be vain if you're a guy. And it's changed, and now guys are vain the way women are vain, and women have taken it really far, with these BBLs, which are really dangerous, and so he doesn't come from out of the blue doing what he's doing.
By the way, Clavicular saw what AOC said to us and had a response. He said, why do people act like you automatically reject the importance of charisma, personality, when becoming a Looksmaxxer? It's always been about being as well-rounded as possible and maxing every stat. I don't even know what that didn't address what she said. That doesn't address what she said.
It doesn't. And also the idea of saying, oh, well-rounded personality. I didn't know personality was part of the equation.
No.
And I'm not
Personality
seeing
is
that.
not part of Looksmaxxing, right?
I'm not seeing
Which
that.
part of your personality are you addressing when you put a chisel to your face and hammer?
But the concept of it is not out of left field, given what women have been doing for decades.
My name is Haley Q. I'm from Kentucky. I believe that we have to approach this topic with nuance and understanding because this is a symptom of a bigger issue. I believe that men specifically, but I mean, everybody could benefit from social etiquette classes from a young age, especially if somebody lacks social skills. I think that we could really improve as a society, and people wouldn't need people like Clavicular to give them confidence, feel like they're belonging, and feel purpose.
Dancing with the Stars pro Gleb Savchenko is in the middle of a nasty custody battle, one that has now gone international, and he is claiming that his ex-wife has abducted their 2 daughters and taken them to Hong Kong. But of course, his now ex-wife, Elena, says it's the exact opposite, that Gleb is the one who has essentially abducted their oldest daughter and is holding her now in the United States. This is a really nasty battle that we should say that his ex, Elena, lives in Hong Kong with their 2 daughters and has lived there. And in fact, she says that Gleb is well aware that the girls are permanent residents of Hong Kong. But the issue is that the oldest one, Olivia, was here in the United States visiting with Gleb, I'm sure, and he has decided that she is going to stay here in the United States with him.
They're basically making counter child stealing charges.
Yes.
Help me out. Remind me. I'm struggling, and I see it. We did numerous stories on a woman
in England.
Who was it? Her husband was living in.
She was on Melrose Place.
Sophie Turner and Joe Jonas?
No.
Back further than that.
Oh.
Kelly Rutherford.
Yes, Kelly Rutherford.
It was Kelly Rutherford.
This is a Kelly Rutherford situation
This is
again.
Super nasty situation. So basically, Gleb wants an emergency hearing because he says that since their daughter has been in town, this is their 15-year-old daughter, Olivia, since she's been in town with him visiting, he claims that Olivia told him that she doesn't want to go home with her mom because her mom would harm her. She said that her mom has some anger issues and she's ultimately scared of her mom.
We have no basis to know whether that's true or not.
This is just according to the document.
Yes. Right.
And he says that Olivia wants to go to school here in California. They've already actually toured a very popular school in the Valley. She really wants to stay here. And does not want to return. And so he's saying that enrollment for the school is coming up in August and that he wants this hearing to happen before then so they can get her enrolled.
Into the school.
However, Elena told us that the daughter was set to come back in June and she did not because Gleb canceled her flight without the mom's permission.
Did we ask the mom about Gleb's assertion that the daughter didn't want to go back?
Yes, we have. She has not responded to that specific part yet, has only said that Olivia's life is fully in Hong Kong. She lives there. She's enrolled in school there. She's a fantastic ballroom dancer and has a massive career with that. And her life is in Hong Kong, and that is basically where she belongs. Has not mentioned how she feels about allegedly Olivia wanting to stay here.
When they go into court, Olivia being 15, she's at an age
has a
where
voice.
the judge is going to
absolutely
hear what she wants.
Coming up,
R. Kelly's attorney submitted a request for clemency to the Department of Justice that handles pardons and clemency requests. I cannot believe that this is an inmate that the president would consider clemency.
Be right back.
I think we have found the line. I think this is the line where the president would not seriously consider clemency here
Could
for
not
this particular person.
Disagree with you more.
R. Kelly. Yes. Found out that on Tuesday, R. Kelly's attorney submitted a request for clemency to the Department of Justice that handles pardons and clemency requests. So we knew that he wanted this, that R. Kelly wanted this, but he had never submitted official paperwork. And now it has been submitted. I cannot believe that this is an inmate that the president would consider clemency. By the way, he's serving he has a 31-year sentence.
Right.
That's for 2 convictions in 2 different federal cases.
He's eligible in 2045. He'd be 79 years old.
Right.
Okay, so here's my question to you. And you can answer this either way, I know.
Okay.
3 years ago, could you imagine Donald Trump
pardoning all the people that watched January 6th?
Specifically, people who attacked and injured police officers, at least several of whom died. Could you imagine him pardoning them? First day.
Yes. Yes, I could.
I realize
because because for him that is a purely political thing, right? That those people that did that on January 6th were his supporters. That's political. I could see that. I don't know anybody who is, after everything we learned about R. Kelly and his victims and what he did with them and what he did to them, that President Trump would be like, okay, yeah, this makes sense.
So let me
this guy out.
So let me ask you a question.
And I don't care what he pays.
Okay, I'm going to speak hypothetically. Let's say that one of the prosecutors in the R. Kelly case was also somebody who
had targeted
Donald Trump
at some point.
Yes, at some point. Would that change? Would that open the door for Donald Trump to do that?
God, I hate to say it, but it would open the door for him to consider this. I still think.
Okay, and then on his way out, whenever that is he prone to a kind of screw you tactic when it comes to the justice?
Okay, listen, I get it. You're an attorney. You're trying to paint me into a corner. Yes, you painted me into the corner. Yes, he would do that. Fine, you win. All right, there is no line.
So, Tiara, DC. So I'm not going to lie, it's a very, very touchy subject. I am a woman, and I know at the time they were minors. However, I feel from Jump Street, the parents should have been held accountable as well. You should have sent them to jail as well. I don't believe that him asking for a reduced sentence or to be relieved of it is crazy. I feel like he has that right to. And more so being, I feel like we didn't put enough blame on the parents. I do feel like 31 years was a very, very long time for this crime.
Coming up.
Kim Kardashian's got herself a brand new car that is an old car, but it's a new car.
So she's becoming a mountain girl, spending time in Coeur d'Alene, wearing jeans and whatnot.
That makes you a mountain girl?
Be right back.
Kim Kardashian's got herself a brand new car that is an old car, but it's a new car.
And it's an expensive one.
Inside, but most importantly, it's expensive. Yes, it looks like a classic Bronco, and on the outside, it is, but everything else inside of this is custom and modern and $300,000, almost $300,000.
I was gonna play The Price is Right with you guys, and you spoiled it.
Yeah, I did.
$300,000.
Almost. It's a little under.
$285,000. So she worked with this.
That's different.
She worked with this company, Velocity. Basically, this is what they do: is restore old Broncos. So basically, it's like the shell.
What year is it?
1973. And so it's the shell of like what an original. Are you gonna make this into an OJ thing? Is that why you're asking?
Well, we'll get there.
Okay, I thought that's why you were asking the date.
No.
And so basically, I guess Travis Barker is a previous customer. He was the one who told her about this company, and she wanted a Bronco for her mountain house, so that she had one made.
So she's becoming a mountain girl. She really is.
Certainly, part-time.
Spending time in Coeur d'Alene, wearing jeans and whatnot.
That makes you a mountain girl?
That makes you a mountain girl wearing jeans. The bandana, don't forget the bandana.
And she's also not dating a country star. She's dating an F1 driver.
But she's getting who will like this car, let me tell you.
Oh, for sure.
Look, the fact that it's a Bronco, I mean...
I'm sorry, if you go on the Family Feud, and the
Kardashians
Broncos. Bronco. What's the first thing you think of?
O.J. Simpson.
Number one on the board.
Not John Elway?
O.J. Simpson.
O.J. Simpson, exactly.
And there's also a very close connection in this case between the Kardashians and O.J. because her dad represented OJ, and her mom was best friends with the woman that OJ killed. So,
the Broncos winter green. It's not white.
I understand that. It's also
well, she definitely could not. If she got a white one,
Yeah.
she knew what it would look like.
Hello, Yana here from Calgary. Honestly, I feel like I'm not thinking about it that deep. I feel like Kim is that girl, and this car is that car. I live in the mountains, and I've never seen this car, but now it's like my dream car. I'm not even a car girly.
That's beautiful. The car's beautiful.
She's got a lot of fruits.
Yep. What else do you guys want to talk about?
Yo, I'm Alfred from Arizona. I'm here to talk about the Looksmaxxing trend, and I think it's healthy in some ways, kind of teaching young men to really do hygiene, really get into hygiene. It's just the way he portrays it and the way he kind of relates it to other people is what's bad about it.
Yeah, the personality side is what a lot of people object to, which is, kind
right. Even though he says, "Hey, focus on personality."
Right.
Okay, that's not helping you at all.
Not a bit.
Flav.
One more.
Hi, Rena from the DC area. And as far as the homeschooling debate goes, as someone with 2 kids, I fully understand needing a break. But no matter how high your education is or how fancy and Instagrammable your homeschool classroom setup is, being a full-time parent and an educator at the same time is just not a good idea. And no public school is perfect either. But if you're involved in your kids and their school life, that's also much better than just isolating them at home or dropping them off and completely checking out.
The funny thing, I got to tell you,
you gotta do both.
The funny thing is that everybody makes fun of, people my age, that back then schools were this and that. They were better than they are now. I mean, you come out the other side learning more and doing better.
They were better. Schools were better back then?
I think they
Yeah,
were.
you know why? Because the population was half what it is now when you were in school.
It's not the population,
right?
It's
Yes, it is.
It's the quality of the students.
Coming up.
God, I watched this happen, and I thought, I wish this happened when Harvey was reporting.
And it's a lot more comfortable at this hour, but we're still in the 80s here in the valley. So overnight temperatures not necessarily dropping.
Be right back.
Boy, I wish, God, I watched this happen, and I thought, I wish this happened when Harvey was reporting out in the field.
I had plenty of stuff happen. Believe me.
Watch the grace under pressure of this reporter in LA while she's giving a report about the weather and the heat wave, and she gets a creepy, crawly visitor.
And it's a lot more comfortable at this hour, but we're still in the 80s here in the valley. So overnight temperatures not necessarily dropping, and this leads to less recovery time from the daytime heat.
Oh, Eric.
It is.
Okay, that's our Rachel minute.
She didn't. So after she was done.
Now watch this.
Yeah, after she was done with her
Go back-
report.
no, go
they
back
kept
to
the
this.
camera on her,
And
so they could see her trying to get the thing.
I don't know about today, but in the 60s, they would have made a dance out of that. It would have been the cockroach dance. And it would have been huge, and somebody would have written a song about it.
That is professionalism. You would not, if you were doing a report, and there was a...
Dude, I was covering...
What would you do?
I was covering the Malibu fires, and I had a Kleenex in my pocket. I'm fine.